Hello, friends. I am Rose. Welcome to Story with Blue Lady, where we bring you stories full of wonder and excitement. Let's get started. Today's story is The Mother's Heart. In a small village, surrounded by the simple beauty of open fields and the occasional line of trees, there lived a mother named Leela. Life here moved at a steady, gentle pace, but for Leela, her days were never dull or slow. She was the mother of two lively children, Mia, her bright and imaginative daughter, and Liam, her curious and adventurous son. From morning to night, Leela poured her heart into raising them, making sure they grew up surrounded by love, care, and the understanding that they were her world. Each day for Leela began long before the sun had fully risen. She would quietly slip out of bed, her hands moving in the stillness of the early hours to prepare breakfast for her family. The sound of birds outside, greeting the dawn, was her only company as she stirred the porridge on the stove. Soon, the house would come alive with the laughter and voices of her children. Mia was always the first to wake, her brown eyes sparkling with the dreams she had conjured during the night. "Mama, today I want to build a castle," she would say, her small hands already reaching for Lila's, as if ready to begin their new adventure. Leela would smile, brushing Mia's hair back from her face. "A castle, is it? Well, let's see what we can find to help you with that." Liam, on the other hand, was the explorer. By the time he had finished his breakfast, he would be asking Leela if they could visit the creek nearby or take a walk through the trees on the edge of the village. "We might find a treasure, Mama. You never know what's out there." And while Leela had plenty of work to do around the house, she never missed the chance to take her children on these little adventures. To her, these moments walking hand in hand with them, watching their eyes light up with wonder, were priceless. One day, after a particularly stormy night, the village was left in chaos. Strong winds had ripped through their homes, uprooted trees, and flooded the streets. Lila's home had not been spared. The roof over their small kitchen had been badly damaged, and rainwater had poured in, ruining much of what they had carefully stored for the coming winter. When Leela saw the damage, her heart sank, but she quickly composed herself. Her children stood beside her, their eyes wide with worry, but she reached out and pulled them close. "We'll get through this," she said softly. "We just need to help each other, and everything will be fine." True to her word, Leela didn't waste a moment. She began working with the villagers to repair what was broken. She was the first to offer help wherever it was needed, whether it was gathering fallen branches, sweeping away debris, or comforting those who had lost more than just belongings. Mia and Liam followed her example, their small hands working alongside the adults, inspired by their mother's strength. As the days passed, the village began to return to its former peace. Yet, it wasn't just the physical rebuilding that left an impression on Lila's children, it was how their mother gave so much of herself without ever asking for anything in return. Lila's actions were like a quiet fire, warming everyone around her. One evening, after a long day of working with the villagers, Mia found her mother sitting by the window, her eyes gazing into the fading light outside. "Mama," she asked softly, approaching her. Leela turned to her daughter with a tired but gentle smile. Yes, love. Why do you always help everyone? Mia asked, her innocent eyes wide with curiosity. Leela placed a hand on Mia's cheek, her voice soft but filled with the wisdom of years. Because a mother's heart is meant to give. It doesn't run out of love when it's shared. It only grows bigger. Mia thought about this for a moment before nodding, though she didn't entirely understand the depth of her mother's words. Yet, she sensed there was something important about the way her mother lived. Something she would come to fully grasp in time. Seasons changed, and years passed in the village. The days of the great storm slowly became a distant memory, but Lila's influence never faded. Mia and Liam grew taller, stronger, and more independent, but they always remembered their mother's quiet acts of kindness. It was in the way she mended their clothes late at night when they were asleep, or how she made sure everyone in the village had enough to eat, even when there was little left for her own family. One cold winter's evening, when Mia was a bit older, Leela fell ill. It wasn't sudden, but the sickness seemed to creep over her, draining her strength day by day. Mia and Liam did their best to care for her, as she had always cared for them. But the sight of their once vibrant mother, now too weak to leave her bed, weighed heavily on their hearts. One night, as Mia sat beside her, holding her mother's hand, she whispered, "Mama, you've always given so much to everyone. Now it's time for you to rest. We'll take care of you." Leela, her eyes tired but still filled with love, squeezed her daughter's hand gently. "I know, my love," she whispered. "But don't be sad. My heart is full. I've been so blessed to have you and your brother. And remember, love, a mother's heart never truly rests. It lives on in her children." Mia's tears fell silently as she kissed her mother's hand, her heart aching with love and gratitude. As time moved forward, Lila's children grew into the kind of adults she had hoped they would be: compassionate, giving, and strong. The lessons Leela had passed down, not through words, but through her daily acts of love, shaped them in ways they hadn't fully realized when they were young. Many years later, Mia stood in the same village where she had grown up, now a mother herself. Her own children played in the fields nearby, and as she watched them, she thought of her mother, who had given so much without ever expecting anything in return. She closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the warmth of the memory, and whispered to herself, "A mother's heart. It lives on," and indeed, it did. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to stay connected with more magical adventures. Until next time.